Whether you're just keeping fit or chasing Olympic glory, there's really nothing that compares to the sport of rowing. This safety video is intended as a general overview of rowing safety procedures. Please ensure that you consult with your club safety officer and coach to check the specific safety procedures employed by your club. Let's get started. Before going out on the water, there are a number of safety procedures to keep in mind. These relate to rowing boat setup, safety boat setup, traffic pattern checks and weather checks, and identifying potential hazards. Let's look at rowing boat setup. Before leaving the dock, you must make sure that all your equipment is functioning properly. If you're not sure what to check for, ask your club safety officer. Check that your individual heel restraints are securely tied and in good condition. Also check that your one-hand quick release is working properly. Make sure your oar lock is at the proper height and that the nuts are tight. Check that the nuts and the rigging are tight. Check that the smoothness of your slide is acceptable and that the forward end of the slide is not sharp to avoid gouging your calves. Check the hatch cover to make sure that it's fitted and properly sealed. Check that the bow ball is secure and not damaged. Next, let's take a look at safety boat setup. The safety or coaching launch provides safety supervision when rowing and support assistance in an emergency. It is essential that the right equipment is at hand. The following items are commonly found in a launch safety kit. Basic first aid kits, which can contain space blankets, bandages, compress dressings, antiseptic ointment or wipes, adhesive tape and a scissors. A VHF two-way radio or a walkie-talkie. The launch driver must wear a cord that activates the kill switch at all times. A tool kit which can contain items such as rope, spanners, appropriate nuts and washers, and some tape. A bailer. A box of spares that can contain oar locks, a bow ball, and other items needed to make small repairs. Everyone in the safety launch should be wearing a life jacket. These are items commonly found in a launch safety kit. Best practice is that each club make their own list of items, then display the list somewhere prominent in the club and check the kit regularly. Next, let's look at traffic pattern checks and weather checks. Before leaving the dock, check the local weather forecast and check the local traffic pattern for the water that you'll be on. A traffic pattern is a road map for the river. Your local traffic pattern should be displayed at your club. There are several ways to check the weather. Using a weather radio, listening to local weather reports, and check for weather apps on your phone or computer. Let's take a look at potential hazards. There are many potential hazards on the water and in the boathouse. It is important that you familiarise yourself with your environment. Check for local hazards, such as shallow water, stumps, rocks, and local landmarks such as docks, bridges and piers. Be aware in advance of any events taking place and look out for wildlife. Be mindful of flooding and look out for weirs and water flow. You must also be aware of the potential hazards in the boathouse. Take extra care not to catch yourself or any loose clothing on riggers of boats that are stored high up. Also be cautious on slipways, especially in wet weather. Finally, before going out on the water, you must know the command structure within your crew. Once you're satisfied that all appropriate checks have been made with your boat and equipment, it's time to get rowing. The following is a general overview of safety procedures to adhere to when on the water. It's important that you ask your club safety officer for specific details on procedures relating to your club. In this section we'll cover water rules and regulations, rescue methods, dealing with things like hypothermia, shock, and other hazards on the water. Let's take a look at water rules and regulations. To avoid collisions, you must be aware of the traffic pattern for the stretch of water you'll be rowing on. There will be specific traffic patterns for training and patterns for each race. Check with your club or race organisers. Always be on the lookout for other boats. If you feel you might be close to a collision, yell out. Sometimes a common sense approach is needed regardless of who has the right of way when it comes to avoiding collisions. Rescue methods. No matter how experienced a rower you are, it's likely you'll end up out of your boat and in the water at some point. The single scull is perhaps the easiest shell to fall out of, but with any shell, the number one rule is that you stay with your boat. Being assisted by your coach or another sculler is the best option, but it is possible to get yourself back into your scull if help isn't nearby. Keep your head above water. Step on the rigger, which is under the water, to help flip the boat over. It is important to watch for the oars, which may come over the top and hit you in the head. Grab both oar handles, keeping both oars flat on the water for added stability. In an action similar to getting out of a swimming pool, kick your legs and raise yourself out of the water and onto the boat. Get yourself back to shore as quickly as possible. In a capsize situation, stay with your boat. Unless seriously damaged, your boat is your life raft. Step on the rigger to right the boat. Keep oars flat on the water for stability. Kick your legs to raise yourself out of the water. Get back to shore and get warm. In case of a double scull capsize, one rower will get in first, while the other rower helps to stabilise the boat. Once a rower is in the boat, they should assume the safety position, which is holding the handles of the oars together to stabilise the boat. The second rower can then lift themselves onto the boat. In a double scull capsize, stay with your boat. Use the rigger to right the boat. One rower will climb in while the other stabilises the boat. The first rower in assumes a safety position while the other rower climbs in. Get back to shore and get warm. Getting yourself back into a capsized boat takes strength and agility. Your club should offer capsize training, so check with your club safety officer for details. Your club should also ensure you pass a swim test. If for any reason a person cannot meet swim test requirements, a life jacket or buoyancy aid must be worn at all times when on the water. When pulling a rower out of the water, be mindful of the safety launch engine. Where possible, take it out of gear or turn the engine off. Equipment such as a small portable ladder or a thick braided rope can be used to step into the boat. In the unlikely event of the safety launch capsizing, it is important to remain calm. Simple equipment such as a bailer and some rope can be really helpful in righting the boat. There are a wide range of launches available, and your club's launch may differ from the example shown here. For your club's specific rescue methods, check with your coach and safety officer. Lastly, let's look at things like hypothermia, shock, and other hazards on the water. Hypothermia and shock may occur after a boat capsize in cold water. Sunburn, heat stroke, and dehydration can occur when overexerting yourself in hot weather. You must also be mindful of dangers that can't be seen. For example, waterborne diseases or bacteria on unclean equipment. Rowing equipment, such as oar handles, must be cleaned regularly. It is essential that hands are washed after coming out of the water, especially if you have any cuts or scratches, and always before eating. This video is intended as a general overview of what to look out for to keep yourself safe when rowing. For further guidance on procedures that relate to your own club, seek advice from your club's safety officer and your coach, and continue to check your club's safety notice board. For more general information on rowing procedures, go to Rowing Ireland's website at www.rowingireland.ie. Thanks for watching, and safe rowing!